I want to welcome everybody. So we'll start the plant share. So Charlotte, you are on.
This was given to me as a cutting quite a few years ago, and it was the first bloom. And today, the second bloom opened. Um, and while we were at it, my cerulean also opened a bloom today. So it was just exciting to see something you've been waiting for so long to come to bloom.
Did it have 12 leaves? You said it was the first time it blooms. Evidently, they're also called the apostle plant. So did it have the 12 leaves? Because that's what
No,
rumor has.
I
It's supposed to
I
have 12
didn't
leaves representing the apostles if it before it blooms.
Yeah, no, I didn't count them. It's not in the easiest position to try to get in there and try to count leaves. So,
Oh, okay. So we still don't know if that's true or not. Okay. Evidently, they're native to South from Mexico south to Brazil, and they like warm, humid conditions with good draining soil and high organic matter. Similar to a jungle, I would per se think. Do you have jungle-like conditions? Probably not the hot part in San Francisco.
I planted it next to the cerulean, which I had good luck blooming. So I figured it might be a good spot for it, and it seemed to work.
It's happy. Don't question it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Connie. So tell her it's your story. Did the
Well, this carrot started to sprout, so I planted it, and it took off. It's about 4 feet high, started blooming, and when the first flowers appeared, this ladybug arrived, and she sat there for a couple of months, I think. And then about 2 weeks ago, something started to come out of her, and it's not a good picture, but it was the best I could do. And I don't know what it was,
is that
but
little thing right there?
she was there yesterday, exactly like the picture. Today she's gone. There's nothing there.
That's
So
all.
I don't know what happened.
So she sat there for a week, not moving.
Probably a couple of weeks.
Oh wow. And then this particular, it looks like maybe an exoskeleton of maybe the pupae or something. This thing came out.
I think, I have no idea. I hope somebody knows more than I do, but that's just a picture of what was happening. But it said, I don't know, where she went, or whether, you know, what's going on, because she took off.
Well, that's good. She's okay. Did anybody have more insight to the ladybug life cycle than either me or Connie?
Yeah.
I wonder if they, after they pupate to adulthood or shed their skin um, after their metamorphosis, if they have to wait until everything hardens up before they can move or anything. Okay.
No.
Stone silence. So I guess nobody knows. So
Nobody knows more than we do, I guess.
yeah, I tried to find something, but I couldn't find anything on it. So anyway, sounds like the ladybug is in good shape if it took off.
I assume she's gone somewhere.
Fly away home, flew away home.
Yes.
Janet,
So actually, the Deutzia pinkaboo has finished blooming now, but it was blooming when you asked for the pictures. So it's really pretty shrub. I have on the north side of my house, so in mostly shade. It is deciduous, as she said there. It does okay in Campbell on once a week watering, so it doesn't need a
ah,
ton of water. But um, it's interesting that say they bloom best in full sun, but I find in Campbell they do better in more shade.
well, I
And
think that might be a Eastern suggestion. How big is yours? And is it kind of a, I've envisioned them kind of an open vase shape or not?
yeah, you're right. It is an open vase shape, kind of very wispy branches coming out, and it's about 4 feet tall.
Oh, okay, so kind of a little compact there. I expected maybe bigger, but I'm sure there are bigger ones. Yes.
But it hasn't been in the ground a really long time. I actually transplanted it from my back fence where it was getting more sun, and it seems to be happier here where it's getting less sun, where it's more shaded by the house. So
Oh, good. Yeah.
and I only transplanted it not last winter, but the previous winter. So it's still getting established in the spot it's in.
Okay.
And I know everybody's familiar with that bougainvillea, the San Diego red, but it was just, that's the fullest of bloom I've ever seen it. It's just masses.
Do you attribute that to the rainfall that we had this year?
I guess it must be due to the rainfall the last couple of years has really
Yeah.
brought out spectacular bloom on it.
What is it being supported with?
Wires that I've run from the eaves, and then I tie some of the stems back to the wires, and the other ones kind of seem to follow suit.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I cut it back when it gets up under the eaves. So
In the summertime then, or do you wait until
yeah, in the
early
summertime.
spring?
I'm waiting till it stops, till most of the blooms have fallen off before I cut it back because I hate to cut off the
Okay.
flowers,
But not in the winter
no,
because it
no.
might get
Usually in the
frozen.
yeah.
Okay. What else you got in your garden here?
Oh, the Salvia interrupta. I have a plant of that in the front yard that I got a number of years ago. I can't remember where it came from. A friend bought it for me. So, and then the cistus, the pink flowers there, they make a great ground cover, and they've been in for probably 30 years in my front yard and kind of just spread around. They get maybe a foot tall and spread out and have nice pink flowers in the spring, and it combines nicely with the salvia when it blooms. The salvia doesn't last really long, maybe a month. The flowers last, and then I cut it back, and it's just kind of there the rest of the year.
Such a pretty color though.
It is a pretty color, and I like those long wispy stems that it gets.
Yeah. And the
And
cistus, do you know what cistus it is? Oh,
it's pulverulentus. It's a hybrid with pulverulentus.
okay. Okay.
I got that's been in, like I said, over 30 years. So I got it way back when we moved in the house and I was working for Yamagami. So
How wide is it now?
well, I can't even remember how many plants I get put in, maybe
Oh,
three.
okay.
And they're covering an area that's 20 feet by 15 feet.
Wow. Okay. Sounds like a nice ground cover.
Yeah, it makes a great ground cover. And I occasionally prune it back some areas that look too woody. And that's one, I have several floral carpet roses on the back of the fence, but that white one looked nice in the background with those other two. So
Right there.
yeah, way back in the corner. The blue and the white and the pink look good together, I thought.
Yeah. And then where's your malva
The
in
Malva is on
comparison?
a strip between my driveway and my neighbor's driveway that's about 10 feet wide. There's a huge pepper tree farther up the strip that shades the about half of it, but this is out where it gets a little more sun. I have a couple of Salvia sonomensis hybrids underneath it.
Mm.
Some straight sonomensis that I just planted, and one called Gracias, which is a little taller, directly underneath this. And then farther up towards the pepper tree, I have more Salvia spathifolia.
Okay. And so does the malva do better in the shade or the sun?
It's not perfect, but I mean, I have seen it in yards near me where it's in full sun, so I think it can take full sun. In the place where I have it gets some shade, but it's mostly sunny where it is. And it's been in the ground about 5 years, and it's about 6 feet tall and probably 4 or 5 feet across.
Okay. Yeah, it grows pretty fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems to. I've had some people tell me that it'll kind of flop over, but mine hasn't, fortunately hasn't done that yet. But
Good. Okay. That's all you had, right?
yep, that's all I had.
Okay. And then I see Jeff found something about a lady beetle parasite. Jeff, do you have anything to say about that? Or have you read it yet?
The article in Wikipedia, which I posted in the chat, indicates that that indeed 25% of lady beetles that are parasitized by this wasp, I think it was, recover. So once they're done with their zombie duties of helping to bring to fruition the larva for the wasp, they are able to, I guess in this case, fly away. So it looks like it might be the answer. And certainly the picture that's included with the Wikipedia article looks very much like the small item that was next to the lady beetle. So that might be it, Connie.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Did you hear that, Connie? Thank you so much for
Yeah,
that.
I did. In fact, I opened that link and was reading it.
Oh,
So
neat.
I'll go back to it later, but that looks like a very long explanation for what was going on. I
Oh,
hope she's okay.
interesting. Great. I think did I see Robbie on there? I think I did. Maybe did. Yep, I see Robbie.
Oh, hi. Yeah. Oh, hello, everybody. We had a riot of a rose blooming year because of all the rain. And everything just popped out all at once. And I think it's just the best year I've ever had up here in Oregon. This, I guess this is the seventh year, and it took about 4 or 5 years for them to get established.
Did
Yeah.
how big a property do you have, Robbie?
Oh, it's just under 2 acres. It's not that much. We're right off of a little river, so and then across from the river is a pasture, a cattle pasture. So it's nice and open, but it also blows in a lot of weeds, pasture
Ah,
weed. Oh my gosh. Um, but I like big roses, and a lot of my roses, I'd say majority of them are ramblers and species, which grow along the fence line. The moderns don't do as well up here. In California, they did better. Up here, they get a lot of black spot because we have so much moisture in the air.
mm-hmm.
So I do keep growing them, but every year I say, okay, that's it, you're done.
And a few more go by.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about Dawn Crest? It's a beautiful one.
Yeah, that's one of Ralph Moore's. And it's gorgeous. I got it from a girl that moved up to Oregon, Southern Oregon, south of us, from Southern California. And I got it from her. And it's a climber type. So it's very, very prolific.
Do you have it climbing on anything, or is it just kind of sprawling out over?
It sprawls, yeah,
Nice.
and
Mhm.
and kind of weeps a little bit, which I kind of like.
Yeah. And then Lamarck.
And Lamarck is a noisette, which maybe some of you know that that's the only American rose that was hybridized in the United States. It's a tea noisette, very big, very large. You can grow into trees. We've got it in front of the apple tree, so I'm hoping it'll grab a hold of some of the branches.
Okay. Are they fragrant?
Hmm?
Are they fragrant?
Very slight,
Okay.
very slight. Yeah.
Okay. Oops. And then we got Mel's Heritage.
Yeah, Mills Heritage. He was the manager of the San Jose Heritage Rose Garden, and he managed the gardens down there for many years. And this rose, of course, is named after him. I it's a rambler type, but very healthy, no diseases.
And you have two in this next one.
Perlior and Etoile de Mai are both polys, which are supposedly not as they grow as big as most roses, but these happen to be pretty good size. But I do let mine grow because I have the space and I like the big roses. So,
You might as well so you have the space, right? Otherwise your weeds are gonna take over.
oh, Vocal Park, that's a Cordes rose from Germany. It's not very common, and I got it from one of the rose people down in California there years ago and brought it up here. And it's doing really well. I'm very surprised and I love it. And it blooms for a long period of time. It's got a long bloom and a long vase life.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. That's yeah, beautiful shade. And
Mm-hmm.
it fades pretty too.
And of course, St. Swithin, the David Austins, they do well up here as well because it's a little cooler. And they have a nice scent and a lot of rebloom. I can't say that they're completely disease resistant. They get black spot, but everything gets black spot up here except the species and some of the ramblers. So,
Oh,
but
nice.
anyway, I just wanted to show some of the gorgeous roses that I brought up from California, and they're doing okay up here.
Yeah, blockbuster year for roses up there.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Neat. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, is Kristen on? Kristen sent this, and she didn't know what it was, but I did my iPhone thing, and it told me that it was a Arthropodium serratum. Does anybody contest that or know if it is or not?
That's it. It's from
That's
New
it.
Zealand. It's a terrific plant.
Oh, good. So she purchased it from Annie's maybe 10 years ago. It was sold as a dry shade lover. It gets morning sun and it's pretty dry growing. The other surprise is that it goes into full bloom, sorry about that, when I normally have a lull in the bloom level in my garden. It's blooming as of this writing, which was June 4th. And it's evidently part of the Asparagaceae, and it's evidently the lily family has been separated into numerous subdivisions. So it's there's lilies, and then there's the Asparagaceae and the Amaryllidaceae, and I think there's 3 others. It's an endemic to New Zealand, where it grows in dry, rocky coastal regions, and their rhizomes are edible and has been believed to be cultivated and cooked by the Maori.
How tall is it?
I don't know. I'm going to say it's probably about 2 feet, 2.5 with the blooms. Is anybody?
It's a 3 feet, a little bigger.
Okay. And the foliage, that's when it's been bloom, and the foliage is maybe a little bit shorter.
The foliage is at about 3 feet, and the blooms come up through it, and so they're kind of 6 inches above it.
Oh, nice. And
On
what's your
mine.
experience with growing it then, Bobby?
I've had it, I just put it in the ground in a pretty shaded side of my house, east side of my house. And it's been a really successful plant. It blooms all by itself, and it always looks good, and the leaves are really nice, and it doesn't take much water. And I've put it in clients' gardens as just a nice perennial with some surprise flowers. It doesn't require any fussy knowledge.
Where do you live?
I live in Montclair, in Oakland.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice plant to have. It sounds like a good, reliable plant to put in some dry shade areas.
I think I also saw them over at Rusty and Charlie Scudder's in San Francisco.
In their gutters?
No, Rusty and Charlie Scudder.
Oh, okay.
In San Francisco, they have a nice example of this plant in their garden.
Got it. Okay. Terrific. Thank you,
Welcome.
Bobby. And then she also has this chocolate aeonium, which she says it's she gets colder. She's in Danville, and she's never had it survive the winter so well. And this is the 2nd year. And she just makes reference to the climate change, which I think we've all experienced a bit. Okay, now it's me. And so this is Cardone, and I love this plant. It's just so architectural. You can put it in evidently pots, or this is actually in a kind of a big water trough, not quite as big as some, but and it's several years old, but each year it comes out with these beautiful silvery gray foliage, and then they come up and bloom with these really bright lavender flower, thistle-like flowers that the bees love it. And, it's just a real good statement plant, and I've seen it used in other containers. And you can kind of goes dormant in the wintertime, so you cut it all the way down. And evidently, when the new stalks come up in the spring, you can blanch them, tie them kind of together so they don't get any light to them.
Mhm.
And then I guess it's mostly Italians will eat those or have the most of the recipes for cordone, using cordone. And it's related to the artichoke. Evidently, the artichoke is derived from the or has been hybridized with the eat the flowering part. So anybody have any other comments on the cordone?
Did you ever cook yours?
I have not cooked mine. I keep tempting to, but I keep forgetting about it. So,
So
I have not.
it's those the thick stems that you eat,
We had
not the
Yeah.
flower base like an artichoke.
No,
Yeah, evidently it's kind of like celery when it comes up, and then I guess you tie it up so the inner ones stay without any sunlight and don't get the chlorophyll developed, and then I guess you chop it back down and eat it. And I'm not sure if it can come back up from that, but they have a big old long tap root, so they're very tough as far as water and stuff.
if you don't blanch it, it's very bitter.
There you go. So Pam says if you don't blanch it, it's very bitter. So
And if you leave it in the ground for some years, it will become quite huge. This is a small plant. It's big, but it's a small plant. We had them at City College. They would come back every year. They were 10 or 12 feet tall and took up several square feet of space, and they're huge. The flowers are beautiful. People
yeah.
like to take them.
That's one warning actually. If you're near a natural area, probably do not want to use this or cut off the flowers because it can spread into grazing lands and such. And then I was in the Sacramento Capitol. It's been at least 10 years, if not longer. And I got this cutting of this cholla that had all these gorgeous magenta flowers on it, or actually fuchsia colored flowers. This doesn't really show how pretty the color of the flowers is, but this is the first year that it bloomed. So I was really happy about that. I think it's a lot of plants' first years blooming, it sounds like. And so anyway, my confession, I got this probably by ill means from the Capitol. Okay, thanks so much.